Okay,
It
you
is
recording?
recording. It's recording.
Yay! So why again did you think the wrong side won World War II, Mark? No, I kid. But no, actually we're doing another top 40K top 10 40K list today.
Ooh, top
Um
40K. That sounds
top
That's steep.
40,000.
40,000 models. It's gonna be a long video. No, we're doing last time we did chaos. This time we are doing loyalist marines, and by loyalist, to specify, that includes basically all the like enhanced Astartes type people, not just like ultramarines, blood angels, and all that, but also gray knights, also custodes, however it's pronounced. We are including all of those, basically all the big beefy power armor guys, since they all kind of fall in the same category aesthetically. Yeah, we figured it was kind of a good category to put things in, right?
Yeah, and then I think we're going to do the rest of the Imperium kind of lumped together for another top 10.
Yes, because which actually we're covering more armies in this one, but there's like less variety, I feel like.
Yeah.
Whereas in that one, it will be a case of fewer armies, but a lot more varied, because Sisters of Battle and Imp Guard and Inquisition have like a lot more, and assassins would be included in that and everything.
Right.
There's a lot more variety to the models.
That's going to be a lot harder, I feel like, to also pick the top 10. This one was kind of, for me, a bit easier, just than even more than chaos, just because I feel like there was less. It was less challenging to select because the variety
me, it
wasn't
was
as
kind of
much.
tough. Yeah, it was kind of tough for me because there's less variety. It's like, you've got like you got like your tactical marines, and then you got your assault marines, which are just look basically just like tactical marines, but they have a jump pack and they got like a chainsword and bolt pistol instead of a bolter. So they're like very similar looking models. And then a lot of the vehicles are like very similar looking tanks with different guns on them. So it's like, how can you like have a favorite of one over the other when they're kind of so similar? So in that way, I think it can be a bit of a challenge to pick a favorite loyalist. But because of how wide our categories are, we got a lot to choose from. So
I had a tough time. This is just a forewarning. I don't have a top 10. I have a top 7. Solely because I'm just not a Space Marine person.
Come on, only 7?
7.
Couldn't
There
do
might be
that.
some that you
So-
show that Nolan shows from like the depths of Warhammer that I've never seen before and couldn't find. That might be honorable mentions at the end. Who knows? But I have a top 7. I'm proud of the top 7 because I was worried I would get that. So
Yeah, you have to pick 3.
So are we gonna
You
go
have to choose 3
like
more from our list. Like, pick your favorite 3.
okay.
she
What
would
if
put
our
as
lists
her
are all the
bottom?
same? What then?
I am very skeptical. No,
Possible.
actually, it's not possible for us to have the same things as on your list. If you only have 7 and we have 10, we've definitely got things that aren't on your list, Mal.
But what
That's
if
true.
me and you, Nolan, have identical lists?
Then I will be very surprised.
Unlikely.
My list is very eclectic, as is frequently the case with me, as you know.
Nolan, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I guess we're going to be going, I guess, like for 10, 9, and 8, I guess it's just going to be me and Mark, right?
Nice.
Yep.
Not there. Mallory, because Mallory is just not
Hater.
just nodding out. Just a hater.
And then just upload,
loyalist hater.
Upload your photos to Messenger so we can all see it.
Yeah. I'm going to. I'm actually, that's what I'm scrolling to right now.
Ooh, what's it be number 10?
So so it's my relationship with the Loyalist is a bit interesting. I'm a bit like Mallory in that I'm not the biggest Loyalist fan. I like other armies' aesthetics better, even though they're the mascots and poster children of 40K. But I do have a lot of nostalgia for them because when I first got into 40K, they were one of the armies that caught my attention, along with the Craft World Eldar, and got me into it. So I have a lot of fondness for like kind of the models that are a bit more old school, a bit more nostalgic. Anyway, my first one is this guy, Ulrich the Slayer.
Ooh, nice.
You can see him up there. Yeah, Space Wolf. So he's actually not his model isn't that old, I don't
Yeah,
believe.
it's a newer one.
But the design actually feels kind of a little retro. When I got into the hobby, it was back third edition 40K and like fourth edition fantasy at the time. And the way this guy is like posed, the fact that he's got that little like back almost banner looking thing, it's like the back emblem. He's just kind of standing there with his cape blowing in the wind, like he's surveying the battlefield. It's not like a crazy pose, like he's going wild with running or acrobatics or anything.
Right.
Which, back then they couldn't model people in too crazy of poses because they had problems casting them and them, standing and everything properly. So it's a strong pose and it's got character, but it's not like anything really wild. He's got the big old wolf tails, pelts attached to him on his legs and his belt buckle or whatever.
Did you not read PETA's stance on the Space Wolves?
Yes, I know.
Dude, they actually made a thing about it.
Genocide is one thing, but like wearing furs, man.
A couple years ago, they actually made a protest. I think it was fake and just a publicity stunt, but it's about.
It was just for attention, I'm sure. But yeah, it is of all the things, the worst thing that happens in 40K, people wearing furs, of course. But I remember though these those tail pelts or whatever they're called. I remember those being on a lot of other older models, and I would attach those to guys when I wanted to add a bit of detail or whatever. He's got his hunting horn.
Dude, this is going to be a long video, but I have something that I have to add too. So I don't know if you remember how I got into Warhammer. So there's like two mini stories. The first one was trying to get actually there's three stories. One, we were watching a movie, Nolan, and then you came out into the living room and were painting your demonettes. And I didn't know what you were doing, but then I was like, that was kind of cool. But two was I found a Craigslist army for Tyranids that we looked at. I don't know if you remember that also, where then I chickened out and didn't buy anything. But the third thing was I bought that random box of bits from that guy, and it was all Space Wolves, and I had a bunch of these.
Yeah.
And I did not know what any of it was, and I was like literally going bit by bit, being like, "Nolan, what's this?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's a bolter. What's this? Oh, that's a chainsword." That's like
I think I do remember that. Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
nice.
So this guy, he's kind of like the best of both worlds in that he's got that kind of old school aesthetic a bit, but he's a little more detailed. The proportions are a little nicer. Very interesting helmet. I know you're not a fan of the bare heads. He's got like a helmet that looks like a literal like wolf skull, or almost actually it looks like a gorilla.
Yeah, it does. That's sweet though.
But actually, I really like his head too. His bare head. He's got the metal eye patch on and the scars, and he's just a beardy boy.
He's like Odin. It's not bad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure they were very much going for like kind of that Odin look with Ulrich the Slayer here
for sure.
And good detail, and yeah, just a nice strong character model. Like him.
Good choice. I concur, especially considering the nostalgia element bringing me back. All right, so for kind of similar to Nolan and Mallory, Space Marines was. I honestly don't have a vanilla Space Marine army currently. Like I have pretty much every other army built and ready to go, but Space Marines is like the one.
We're all such a bunch of 40K hipsters. We're
just
Loyalist
them.
too mainstream.
Gotta be different.
I like them. I hate to say it, Primaris kind of did it in for me. The lore behind Primaris, if you're listening to this and you agree, I cannot handle the lore. It's like, do you like Space Marines? Well, how about Space Marines with no flaws that are better in every way? Here you go. And it's like, I don't.
We have our superhumans. Now we have our superhumans that are even more super. Like I said, it's kind of very. Like,
I think they could have done it better too. They could have brought in and maybe like had like, ooh, the Thunder Warriors are back, but they're short-lived, or they're prone to aggression.
Yeah,
whatever.
Something.
I don't know. But anyway,
I don't know, and we'll see. But yeah, I mean, like I said, like there are some of the Primaris models that I like.
I know I guiltily like them too. as you'll see.
Yeah. Anyway,
Sneak
yeah,
peek,
your
Mark.
pick.
Potentially. Okay, so my number 10 is, and this one is strictly for, so as I made this list, it wasn't strictly just on looks, but it was kind of on the lore and kind of that wow factor on the table as far as like I like to pick up some models as I'm like using them, which it's probably illegal for tournaments, but just to admire it. And so this one is the Death Company Dreadnought. So I just love the idea of like, because the Death Company is like, isn't it essentially just the Blood Angels who have succumbed to the Black Rage or whatever, and so they're just
they've basically
hounds.
gone crazy and they aren't going to get better. So
and I think
send them to war.
put them in a dreadnought is just kind of like that, and upping it to 11, where they're just literally like in stasis up until when they're going to go fight something. It's just awesome. So the lore part of it I like about the model. Also from the dreadnought perspective, I think this is the best looking dreadnought model with like, you've got the frag, I guess it's a frag cannon's an option, but you've got, in this one, you've got the Melta, and you got the, claws. I don't even know what you call those claw things. I know some sort of Blood Angel terminology with them, but yeah. Anyway.
Do those have different rules than the standard Dreadnought Power Fist or no?
I'm assuming they probably do. I'm thinking 7th edition, and it's probably like
Bale claws. I'm trying to remember. I obviously neither of us actually play like the Blood Angels list, since we can't remember what claw. But it is a good looking dreadnought. It's a little less walk-in washing machine looking than some of the other ones.
Right.
Although still, very much in line with that line of models.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice pick.
So that's mine. That's my number 10.
Straight up bulky armor.
Oh, everything. You're crackling, Mal.
Yeah, Mal, you're crackling up
your
a storm.
mic. I don't know what that is, but bulky armor. Well, Space Marines love their bulky armor.
All right, you're up, Nolan.
I am up. Okay. So I'm actually going to share a picture first that is not my next pick, but is closely related to my next pick, and then explain my next pick. So this picture that I'm just sending, again, this is not my next pick, but this is the first ever true Space Marine model Games Workshop ever made. It was called the Imperial Space Marine. Of course, back then the fluff, the background lore of the Space Marines was different. They were like conscripted criminals and stuff. But my pick for my number 9 is the remake of this model, which they did for their anniversary. And there it is. Got it?
Yes.
Okay.
Still crackly?
Yes, you're still crackly.
I don't know why.
Have you tried turning it on and off again?
What am I supposed to do?
I'll just unplug it and plug it right back in. Simple.
Yeah, try that. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, we're having the astral choirs projection or whatever's coming in shoddy.
We're gonna delete
warp
this
storm.
out of the video, dummy.
Maybe not. Yeah, it sounds a lot better. That's good. Keep talking.
Okay.
All right. So,
it's kind of quiet, but
back to my model.
Dude, yeah, I remember this model whenever they re-released it.
Spirit. Yeah. So it's not just like a re-release, it's a complete resculpt of the model to make it up to modern standards. But what I love about this,
not Primaris-ified.
Yeah. What I love about this model is that it's back in the day, back in like the earliest Rogue Trader era of 40K. They had a lot of like, 80s sci-fi retro aesthetic in it. Of course, it was made in the 80s, so it wasn't retro then, but they had like that, punk rockers riding hover bikes, and like they had, like some Flash Gordon inspired stuff along with the 2000 AD stuff. Some of it was like a little more like that aesthetic that's basically almost completely gone away, or pretty much completely gone away in the current 40K aesthetic, the retro sci-fi look. And this is bringing a bit of that back. Nice. I mean, even though this model is not like a big part of the modern lore or anything. But yeah, he's got all those hoses. The old art had loved their hoses. He's got that funky, almost steampunk looking gun, the bolt, his crazy combi bolter thing that's just like big and crazy, and he's got his visor on his helmet, and Yeah, it's just so different, and it's got that retro aesthetic, and it's detailed. Yeah, I just really like that. It's there's not really any other model like that in the line. So
I like
Dude,
his
good choice.
studded shoulder pad.
yeah, exactly. Some of that. Some chaos models have
Little
have
emo.
kept the studs, but did you say emo?
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
I don't think that's what they were going for. But
Probably not.
that was back. The original was made before emo existed. I'm pretty sure it was meant to be more of like a punk slash biker thing,
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right. So my number 9 is the Deathwing Knight or the Deathwing Knights Terminators, whichever one you. I know they kind of go against my rule of, I mean, they're not wearing helmets, but they've got the hoods covering their
Got the
face for the most
hoods.
part. And I love their maces. They just look sweet. They look kind of like, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the name of those sensors. Basically, they have like the smoke come out of them.
Yeah,
Looks kind of like a
sensors. I'm not sure
yeah.
exactly how they're
Looks a bit like
spelled,
that
but yeah, I think that's definitely what they were going for. The idea that they
for
would like
sure.
you could imagine them burning some incense inside that.
And they got a little cute familiar holding one of their swords in the
Dude,
background.
gotta love those Dark Angel little familiar guys. I forget they have an actual what are they called? They have a name, an official name. It's like they're not like it's like visitors or something. They're like these mysterious little critters
Demons.
on the rock on their space station.
Though this is speaking of lore again, Dark Angels, as I would argue, lore that has been changed for the worse recently. I was always a fan of. You didn't really know if was Lionel Johnson, their Primarch, if he was a loyalist or if actually was kind of waiting to see who was going to win before choosing a side. I like
Yeah,
that
that
kind of
was that
thing.
was that was introduced in like that one Black Library novel, which was a great twist that like I feel like they would not let an author get away with doing something like that. It's just that's
Oh
like
no, but
as
it was
big a deal
awesome.
as that these days.
Well, it makes more sense
Um,
too from the perspective of, let's say, like the Fallen are basically the ones that knew that the Dark Angels were essentially traitors, so they kind of ran away and like wanted to go warn people. So now they're being hunted down. So then you could even like, so Dark Angels, let's say today or in the 40K, they are 100% loyalist, but they're still like accounting
but
for trying to get the Fallen to prevent the truth coming
they're
out.
trying to keep the chapter from getting purged, basically.
Right.
Yeah,
Versus the
it
new
does
lore being
make
like,
a
it doesn't make any sense because every chapter had some fall to chaos. So
yeah.
it's like that's not anything new.
Yeah, exactly. It makes way more sense because yeah, because like every chapter, yeah, like you said, every chapter had some that fell to chaos. Why are the Dark Angels the only one that's like really freaked out and obsessed with it?
Yeah.
Um obsessed with keeping it a secret, especially. And
Right.
so it did like kind of make more sense that and the way it was presented, it was kind of like it's not entirely clear what happened back then, but like and like a lot of the fallen like are chaos worshippers, pretty much that was established, but
Right.
like they have fallen to chaos for whatever reason, but like back then it was like the loyalty of Lionel Johnson was like in question or whatever. So
Yeah. And I think
so
also
now it's like
because
this big cover up that made more sense, but then Descent of Angels and stuff kind of just did away with that
I
anyway.
know. And they love talking about the mystery of the Dark Angels and like how the higher up you get in the hierarchy, like you learn more secrets. And so like there's always like that one reveal, the major secret. And it's like that would be a major secret that's revealed as, oh my gosh, our Primarch was basically potentially like a traitor. Like he was just basically
Yeah.
just waiting it out to see who would win, instead of being like, "Oh, Luther was the bad guy all along," and big whoop. I don't know. It just
Rowan in
seems
the wind. Anyway, but yeah, no, it's interesting. But that's kind of the lore, and we're talking about the models, and yeah, good solid models. They've
good
got
models, good
got
mystery.
that Dark Angel aesthetic with the robes.
They were ones
Alrighty.
that I saw that I considered, so I guess they could be considered one of my honorable mentions.
Ooh,
I like
nice.
I like them because of their
Uh,
capes.
The capes and the
The
hoods. I know
capes
you
well,
like
get me.
hoods.
It's like the cultist capes, basically. So
Wait, the capes or the hoods?
Well,
Else gotta appreciate the hoods.
I guess it's the hoods, but they
Well,
remind
the
me of the
hoods.
cultist capes, so that's why I think.
Wait, that reminds you of the Chaos Cultist? Oh my gosh, you sound like a Dark Angel now.
Maybe I am
There,
one.
it's super heretical. All right. Well,
Number
my
8.
turn next. So now I'm getting more into some of the ones I really like. Those two I thought were just kind of cool, but
Honorable
these
mentions.
ones. Okay, so it's funny you should mention the Space Wolf bits you got, Mark, because my next pick is Space
Nice.
Wolves, the Gray Hunters box, Gray Hunters, and I think you make the blood claws with these too.
Dude, I love the
But
wolf
yeah,
head, the wolf
your
helmet.
basic, yeah, the wolf helmet's cool. Your basic Space Wolves box. The most recent like Space Wolf models, the more modern ones, they've started making them like really extreme with like their muscles and their beards and how like yeah, just a lot of like over the top kind of comic booky looking stuff, and I'm
Right.
not a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the more I'm a fan of the more I like the Space Wolves when it's just like Marine Vikings basically,
Right.
just kind of a little subtle difference, a little with the normal Marines. But yeah, this is a great box set in terms of like bits. They got all those cool pieces. Those belly plates that some of the guys have, the like wolf belly plates with like the gun and stuff. You can actually, I've used those as shoulder pads for like normal human characters
Oh,
and
nice.
like back plates and stuff. Like they're actually really versatile and it's great. And then of course, like you said, you've got that one wolf helmet, which you can also use for a lot of things. They've got the big old knife machete things that you can stick on their belts or on people's backs or
Yeah.
wherever. They've got like a good mix of helmeted and bare heads, so you can go whichever way you want. Um, they've got the runes and the gems on their armor. It's just a good look.
It is good. Mallory,
And
do you
it
remember?
was
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Mark, do you remember sending me home over school break with some Space Wolves to build?
Yeah, I actually shipped a
Practice on?
box of these Space Wolves with some paints for Mallory to build and paint to force her to like Warhammer.
I think you were
And did
testing
she?
me to see if I like made the cut in order to be allowed to touch your models
I was
and
like,
help you paint them and build them. It was like test round because
you
because we
pass?
didn't end up keeping them, right?
Yeah, we sold them sadly.
Yeah. So
Ah,
Space
but
Wolves.
but you did build and paint them, eh? So there you
Yeah.
go.
Partially.
Um,
I think we don't. You just painted like the base coat, right? And maybe the shoulder pads.
Yeah. I didn't
yeah,
obviously didn't paint them extensively.
yeah. So as far as yeah, your basic kind of marine, I think the Space Wolf Gray Hunters guys probably take the
Dude, they've
cake for me.
got
So here
tons
they
of
are.
character. Good choice.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, my number 8. I like to think also have a ton of character, especially depending on how you
Okay.
build them. So it is the Death Watch Company.
Ooh.
So what I like about these is they just, they take your basic Space Marine and then they just upgrade everything about them. So you give them the cool, like I like that you have that. I'm trying to think in like the armor terms, but basically the higher breastplate where it's kind of covering some of their helmet. You have like
Mhm.
the little packs, you have the little cool sensor on the backpack, and then the best part about them for me though is the weapons. So you've got, I mean, I guess it's the Infernus combi bolter, which has like the flamer and the heavy bolter. You've got, here's another picture for you guys, the frag cannon, which is just a
Oh yeah.
massive grenade launcher, basically.
Hmm.
Yeah, the cool thing is also just because because I actually have a squad of these guys. You could model them to kind of have each one look a little bit more like their each unique chapter. In fact, there is the Death Watch Kill Team Cassius has kind of like a little bit
Hmm.
more of a basically like a Space Marine from each of the foundings. You have like the Salamander Terminator, and you've got the Imperial
Well, even
Fist.
these guys are quite individualized.
And didn't you paint their shoulder pads to reflect that mark in your
I
armor?
did. I made whichever weapon they had. Basically that was kind of like reflective of their chapter.
Well, if you look closely, you can see that some of them in this have the chapter specific shoulder pads. Like one guy's got like the Flesh Terrors chapter, the shotgun guy. Yeah, they're nice and individualistic. They got a bit of that special ops flavor along with the Space Marine flavor.
Heck yeah.
They, they're definitely some nice models there, and they've got some nice individual poses. Good
Plus,
pick.
you gotta have
Yeah.
you gotta have all three of the what is it? There's the Xenos, Malleus, and Hereticus. There's like the three different groups that fight the enemy within, the enemy without, and the enemy. Wait, what is it? Beyond.
Yeah, the Ordos militant and
Yeah.
for the Inquisition. The enemy within, the enemy without, and the enemy beyond.
I think it's
Yeah,
Beyond. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
to infinity and beyond.
Oh, that's right.
Duh.
The Buzz Lightyear chapter. You could do that. You could
Please
give
do
a
that.
bunch
Hey,
of
he does
Space
kind of
Marines the
look like a
Buzz
space
Lightyear,
marine.
the
Yeah,
Buzz
he does.
Lightyear paint job. I'm sure people have done that. I'm sure you can look that up online right now
Definitely.
and see that.
Oh man. All right, we
But
are number
yeah, I
7.
mean, I might have to give these guys an honorable mention of my own because they are really good.
Good choice.
All right,
Okay,
so
so-
my turn.
Yes. Oh, last little thing. Sorry.
Oh,
One of the Death Watch, I like how he has like a Xeno weapon. Like he looks like a Necron sword that they've then modified to use. So they're basically being a little bit heretical with their weapons. So
yeah, the champion looks like it could be kind of Necron or Eldar, or
Yeah.
at least inspired by those technologies.
so anyway, that's that.
Yeah,
Pretty fun.
yeah, that's one of the things that makes the Death Watch neat. All right, well, I guess so. Now Mallory has her picks, but I guess we will have her go last, and I'll just start off the number 7s.
Okay.
Sounds good.
This next one that I'm going to share has probably the greatest nostalgia value of any Loyalist Marine models that I could share. And that is the Legion of the Damned.
Oh, nice.
So the first model of anything 40K I ever bought was a Legion of the Damned missile launcher model, which is not actually in this kit. I can't find like pictures of it completed and built anywhere.
Wow.
Although the Legion of the Damned missile launcher, that might be because there was like a weird thing going on with it where like the backpack didn't fit in with the missile launcher correctly. It was like messed up. I don't know. The model was weird, a bit wonky, but it was my first ever model. And so the Legion of the Damned will always hold a special place in my heart. The flames on these models, for anyone who doesn't know, are not just like a paint job. They're actually like raised details on the models, as are the bony parts.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, it's I mean, they're a lot like baseline Space Marines. They got that little extra though going for them. They always kind of I know that the Necrons are the ones people associate with like the Terminator. The Terminator movies and stuff, but these guys always had quite a bit of a Terminator vibe, especially that champion with his skull head. Goodness, that is like straight from the Terminator. But yeah, the lore is great. It's a lot of fun with the Legion of the Damned. They're come out of the warp and no one knows who they are or what they are. They're like not normal Space Marines. They're kind of almost like demonic forces of the Emperor. They did a and if I have to pick one, I'll probably go with that sergeant. He's a good sergeant. But they include like a special character in one of the games day things for these guys called Sergeant Centurius. I was not a big fan of him. I'm going to share him too. Him and his like skull, and he could like create more or whatever. It didn't really line up with the previously established lore of the Legion of the Damned.
Oh yeah.
They like show his face without his helmet, and it's like, oh, it's just kind of sickly looking guy. And I'm like, no, Don't show their faces. Like that ruins like a
Right.
lot about them. I mean, I'm sounding like you, Mark, but I'm not against like bare heads in general principle. But for these guys, you
Well,
should
yeah,
not
because
show what they look like
they're like
because
specters.
Right.
You don't know what they are.
yeah, exactly. You don't know, are like, is it an empty suit of armor? Are they
Mhm.
like zombified? Like, like what are they? You don't know. But then they made a model where they showed like his face. It's like, no, don't do that. Ruins it.
Dude,
They're
And but they
sickly
haven't
men,
really
Nolan.
but
they're
they
just
haven't
weak, sickly
really
men.
just weak, sickly, yep. But they haven't really kind of acknowledged Centurius since then, Sergeant Centurius, and his lore didn't like line up with what the Legion of the Damned were supposed to be, because I believe he could like create more Legion of the Damned from like casualties of the enemies. Like when the
Oh,
enemy
boo.
died, more of them would join the troop, which
Yeah.
is never what it's been established to be. And like I think it kind of broke from canon. But yeah, your normal Legion of the Damned guys, like I said, lots of nostalgia for them, great lore, great aesthetic. Yep, very
Good
nice.
choice. They're also one of the very first armies I learned the lore about. And in fact, I'm going to share one thing real quick. One of my favorite pieces of art from Warhammer is Legion of the Damned. I don't know if you guys see
Yeah.
that. I love that. I guess the
Mark has
painting.
that
Nice
up
one.
above his bed.
Oh, I want that, man.
Oh,
It looks so
really?
good.
Big poster.
They did a
Yeah,
good
it's
job.
nice. I wish the Legion of the Damned got like, I mean, I guess they did give them like their own army book once, but that was of course when they were like kind of exploiting adding new army books to the max. And
Right.
there was like, so they had like an army book with just like one unit basically in it for the Legion of the Damned. But other than that, like, yeah, it feels like they don't get as much love.
Yeah, they don't.
I do like
yeah,
that artwork does look cool, especially like the flames and stuff. It just makes it
Yeah.
cool.
No, it's awesome.
oh yeah, no, they're very cool.
All right. Speaking of flames, my number 7,
Mhm.
and this is
Let
going
me
to
guess,
go.
it doesn't have anything to do with flames.
No.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
So it's
The
Adrax
Salamander.
Agatone. It's a Primaris model, I know, but I gotta admit, it just looks great.
Get
It's
out.
a good Primaris model.
I do also love the Salamanders. Their whole aesthetic with fire, and they're basically like,
It's also a Primaris model that actually looks very in line with kind of the mainstream Space Marines as far as the armor and stuff.
right. Yeah, it's definitely good. And then it also, this is kind of an honorable mention, is was it Vulcan Heastan?
Yeah, the Salamanders have some good characters. Vulcan Heastan was one of the ones that didn't quite make my list, along with a couple of Primaris choices. But he's a cool model. I considered him.
So I've actually had both. I currently own. I just got recently the Adrax Agatone model. I just built it because I am considering finally accepting Primaris and using them. But I had a Vulcan Heastan, which I loved, but it was a metal model, which I don't like metal. And the pose, I mean, they've just come a long way in the past, 15, 20 years with making their models. And so like Vulcan's just a little bit ungainly looking, and the spear's a little bit just kind of held awkwardly, and it just didn't really look. It looks good, but it just looks a little bit awkward.
Yeah, it could be
Adrax takes the cake.
That pose, like you can see what they were going for, but
yeah, I think if they were to update
like
Vulcan, I probably would choose Vulcan, but currently Adrax is my number 7.
Yeah, good model, good pose.
Very good.
He's got his little face mask and a bare top of his head, but
I know.
it's only half of his head.
It's only half.
So I guess he doesn't bother you as much. Anyway, yeah.
All right, Mallory.
Now, what do you
Is
think?
it my turn? Is it my turn yet?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, we are now
Just kidding.
to you.
Okay, here we go. Number 7.
Mallory hates, for the record, Mallory hates all other Space Marine models besides these 7. Just so you know.
Seriously, can't even look at them. So this is just the Primaris Chaplain on the bike. I love skulls. Skulls for heads.
Well, if you love skulls, I'm surprised you don't have more favorites in the Space Marines, because they are the skull masters.
Yeah, certain skulls, and also you have to take. Okay, this is one problem I have with Space Marines is they're just very bulky, in my opinion. They just look like bulk.
Mhm.
I don't like it. I like sleek models,
They are
like the
they are the
Harlequins
thick
and things like
boys.
that. So yeah, extra thick, double C.
You
But
Xenos lover.
this this guy's pretty cool with his skull head and yeah, on the bike.
And his
I
staff.
don't hate the bikes.
What about the
so-
book? Do you like the book?
Yeah, I do like the book.
Dude,
He's returning it to
book's
the
pretty
library.
cool. Book on the dashboard.
Yes, he's taking that to his public library. Okay, it's overdue.
He's just ready, like on the battlefield. He's gonna drive right up to some dark apostle and be like, "Hey, do you have a source for that? Because flip that book open. You're wrong. I've got
Yep.
citations, okay, right here.
No plagiarism, please.
Nice,
So,
good
yep.
choice.
So that's my number 7.
I am digging that staff, the skull with the skeleton with angel wings.
Pretty good, pretty good.
Alrighty, we moving on to 6 then.
Yep, you are up, Nolan.
Okay, 666. Whoa.
Nolan.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh,
didn't
Parker
mean to
the
go
Bee
there.
off the bat.
Sorry, now the video is cursed. But on that note, maybe it's time to bring in some angelic messengers to ward away the curse. So here, boom,
Nice.
sanguinary guard.
It feels so much better now.
There you go. Yeah, so I've got a couple of bling marines in mine in my list. But you can definitely go too much bling, so it's a balance. But these guys, gotta love their like almost like Egyptian pharaoh or Roman, like I don't know what those are, but those face masks,
Yeah.
that look like actual faces, and they're got the little like halo effect around them, and then they've got
Right.
their wings on their jump packs, obviously really bringing up the Angel of Death theme in there. Got their golden armor, and those swords, those like oversized falchion looking swords or whatever. Man, love those.
Those are sweet.
Yeah. It's in the lore that like blood angels are, like one of the most artistic chapters.
Right.
One of the chapters with the most kind of skills at crafting things and stuff. And these are models, I think, where that kind of really shows. They're, like I said, they're quite fancy, quite ornate looking.
Dude, they're like
in a way
one
that
step. They're like one step away from falling to Slaanesh. I can tell you that.
What those nipples on the
Yeah, they're like
on
a
their
little too intricate. They're getting ready to fall to excess.
the abs, the armored abs. Well, that's based on like real life armor. The Spartan hoplites actually had breastplates that were like that too. So
That's sweet. And the helmets, I mean, you can definitely see where whenever they came out with the Stormcast Eternals, I mean, that's
Mhm.
exactly where they got these helmets from. Is like, what's the really good helmet that we've got? Oh, let's just use those again for Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, Sanguine Guard are very definitely a lot like the Stormcast Eternals in that regard.
I love how their little knee pads also have like the kind of the like, I don't know, you can call that like the dimpled, or it's just it's
yeah,
a unique pad. I've never seen that
kind of
with other
cross
Space
divot
Marines
thing.
only on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little detail right
I've
there.
seen these very poorly painted before, so I've never seen. Yeah,
You've never seen them like this.
well, I've seen them
this
like
is how
on the
they are in
website,
Good Version.
of course, but
Yeah.
I've yet to see them painted really well in person, which probably
It doesn't seem like it should be that hard for a decent painter to paint them nicely.
Did they
but
not
yeah.
have them at Warhammer World?
I'm sure they did. There's
There's
guys.
so much.
If you haven't been to Warhammer World, it is worth it. I will say that.
Well, kind of on the opposite side of the world from there right now, but maybe one day.
Gotta come visit us.
Oh,
Okay,
so
we're at number 6 now.
yeah, we are on
That's
number
6.
6. Yeah,
Okay. Wait, so is our order? Wait, was that your number 6?
yeah, that was my
Oh
number
my gosh.
6.
Okay. All right.
Mal
so
has
then
only
I'm
gone
up.
once.
Okay, my number 6 is a little bit of a break from protocol. I'm going pure vehicle
Ooh,
Land
Rhino?
Raider.
or Land Raider.
Land
Sorry.
Raider. This thing,
Dunce.
man, this one's like a bit of obviously the appeal, the looks and stuff, but just the nostalgia factor. It's just a sweet, huge tank. Especially if you build one like the front hatch when it opens, both the bottom and the top plate kind of like separate, and it just is a really great looking design. And then, I mean, the guns all articulate and stuff on them, and so I enjoyed whenever I had the Minotaur chapter for a year or two before I realized my paint job was garbage and I had to get rid of them. But yeah.
This is this is like one of the first models that I can remember of like when I saw Warhammer models for the first time. And I think this one and like the helicopter one.
I think the Land Raider was also not this version of it, obviously, but the Land Raider was like the first ever vehicle the Games Workshop made for anything. So,
but yeah, I saw a lot of these at the game shop, and then Mark was painting one.
Yeah, I did. That was back before.
Many people have nostalgia for this.
I did the like if you ever do spray paint, and if it's too hot outside, the spray paint will dry before it gets to the model, and so like it had this really weird like sandpaper texture all over the Land Raider. And then whenever
kind of cool. I mean,
if you were wanting it for sure, but I wasn't, and so it just looked like garbage.
Rage in your heart.
Yeah.
I haven't really had that problem personally, but yes, I can imagine. Got to be careful.
That is my number 6.
Weather conditions. Yeah, very classic. Like I said, very nostalgic choice for me. Like the Space Marine tanks, like I said, I don't know. They're like there's so many just kind of boxy tanks just with different guns.
Right.
I actually probably like, well, this one kind of has the hurricane bolters on the side, right? I was gonna say I probably like some of the Land Raider variants better than the base Land Raider, but obviously it is a classic for a reason. So
it is a classic.
That model also makes me think of some certain people that dipped their models in a tank of paint and called it good.
Oh yeah.
What?
We won't mention names, but
wait. At the game shop, there are some people who played who like just dipped their paint in like a bucket of red paint. It looked like, or that their model. Yeah. Oh, the Storm Talon, Mallory. That's the one you're thinking of.
That's the
helicopter one you're thinking.
I think that's the first model I technically painted. I painted the little window.
I guess
black.
Yeah.
But okay, my number 6.
Yep.
Keeping the vehicles alive.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
So it's called the Ravenwing Dark Shroud. I just think it kind of, I mean, it's different because I feel like all of you have like the Land Raider, like Nolan said, with all the different guns and things, and then a few flying ones. But this one was just different enough that I was like, I kind of like that. Like the guy sitting up front in his little balcony. And then
look at that bling. Yeah. Look at the altar they got on the back. That's how you know it's 40K.
I think that's what I really like too.
It's gothic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So as far as a Space Marine or Loyalist, whatever you want to call it, vehicle.
See, also back, this is why I also kind of don't like Primaris. Is like Primaris, the new Storm, the speeder that they have, looks very similar to this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh. But the new one looks like a lot like this one, but it has like 5 different guns. It looks ridiculous. Versus this one's just got the single. I don't know. It's good.
Hi, you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
What happened?
Sorry, my headphones, I think, just ran out of batteries, so I actually just turned them off. Anyway, what I was gonna say was, I think, Mal, that you will find with a later choice that I have that we have somewhat similar taste in vehicles, although it's not exactly the same, but it is it definitely some similar themes. So yeah,
nice.
I definitely do agree that this is a nice vehicle. Gotta love when 40K goes full gothic with with their vehicles. Like that's what sets it apart from other settings. Anyone can have the tank or the jet fighter or whatever. But when it's also like a church building, like a Gothic church
Right.
building, right? On top of that, that's when you know you're in 40K.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of character.
Okay, we are number 5.
Okay, so my turn. So I am going to choose. I hope this is kosher, but my number 5 is technically could be considered a 30K model, but it's not. It's not Forge World's 30K line. It's Games Workshop's standard plastic box sets. Specifically, it's from the Betrayal at Calth,
Yeah.
and
Kurtha said.
it is the Word Bearer's Chaplain. So,
Whoa, Nolan, it sounds like you're now talking in a tunnel.
just sorry, I stepped out of the room momentarily. So yeah, there it is. That is the Word Bearer's Chaplain. He's got a pose actually pretty similar to the Salamander's character.
Yeah, he does.
And, he's just kind of striding confidently forward, taking aim with his pistol. It's a great pose. Love the little, what is it called? Crest. The crest on his helmet that gives him that Roman look.
A good old centurion.
Yeah. I like his cape.
Mm-hmm. And, he's got his staff, of course, has the wings all around it. It's kind of like a mace staff. And he's got the skulls across his chest plate. Just a lot of little details. It's just a nice, solid model that comes together really well.
Nice. Good choice. Okay. Number 5 for me is more bear heads.
What?
Thunderwolf Cavalry.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
So these guys
are getting some love this list.
They are getting some love. I'm split on if they were to update this model, if I would be happy or sad, in the sense of I feel like their legs look a little silly on them because they look kind of stumpy and they're kind of just straddling this.
Whether you would be happy or sad probably depends drastically on how they would update them. Like I said, the most recent batch of newer Space Wolf models, they went in a very like muscly barbarian, almost like 90s comic book looking aesthetic that I'm not a big fan of.
But yeah, these guys kind of got me back into Space Marines. In fact, I got a set of the Thunderwolf Cavalry, the Fenrisian Wolves, and Logan Grimnar, aka Santa Claus, because I wanted all the different like actual wolves, and so to have a little super mini force. Oh, and I also have a squad of a Wolfen. So basically everything that has wolf relation in the Space Wolves I wanted, and so they're primed and they will be painted hopefully this summer. So that's my plan.
Nice.
Yeah, I like these guys. I like the huge wolf. I like the idea of just, you've got fangs and teeth and you got a sword ready to go. And fun.
It's such a simple idea, but it does work. Just stick a Space Wolf on top of an actual giant cyber wolf. I mean, maybe they could be refined a little as far as like their proportions and everything. I mean, definitely model sculptors have upped their game a little since then, but at the same time I want them to keep the same aesthetic. So good models.
If they do update them, don't do it for a few years, because like I'll be sad if like I paint them over the summer and then they in like the fall we got brand new models.
That happens sometimes.
So scary.
Just ask my sisters of battle. That was when I bought the non-Games Workshop models.
And then they finally
and then they're like, hey, because I was like, they're never freaking coming out with new Sisters of Battle models, it seems like. And then when they finally were done making those, it was like Games Workshop was like, oh, we're doing Sisters of Battle now.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's how it works. Murphy's Law. But let's see, Mal's
number 5.
Or what do you think? What do you think of the Wolf, the Cavalry, Mal? I want to hear your opinion.
Not terrible. Don't love them.
See, I thought you would like the Space Wolves more than any other Space Marine
Okay,
chapter.
well, just wait.
guess
Okay, here you
She's
go.
not a dog person.
Oh.
Number
There you go.
5. So the Cyber Wolves. Mark, you don't have these.
I do have that.
You didn't claim them in your little list that you gave just a few minutes
Okay,
ago.
well, I would kind of lump it in with the Fenrisian Wolf. Sorry.
Okay, so they're the Cyber Wolves. I like that they're not as bulky as those ones that you just had. Like,
Yeah.
And that kind
I
of
like
comes
the like
to them
prosthetic
being
like looking stuff, and they still got the dog. I like dogs, so still like
There you
that, but
go.
they're definitely more wolf.
So what makes you
Just
pick
a-
these over the Fenrisian Wolves, which look almost identical, but they're not as mechanical?
I think the mechanical, because then it makes them a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because
I
mean,
would
if
guess
you picture,
also.
I just don't picture a space marine riding into battle on just a wolf, like Twilight werewolf, you know?
Dude, it's
Like, Jacob, come here, please.
That's
like,
actually
I just
that
don't
needs to
see that.
happen.
So I
Uh-huh.
do like that they have the, mechanical look a little bit, because it makes it more believable for me, I think.
True.
Mechanical look is very cool. These are also a later sculpt. So,
Yeah, so they're just
they
better.
are a little, they are a little more like streamlined in the details.
Right, improved, definitely.
The Wolf and Cavalry guys do look a little, I don't know, like bulkier, a little less, maybe a little less refined in their sculpts.
They look thick,
so.
Nolan.
I actually put
There you
my
go. Everything's
Fenrisian
very
Wolves. I put them on oval bases, which I actually think looks a lot better than the 40mm bases that they're currently on.
thick.
So I put them on little oval bases, which it matches their profile a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Good old
Nolan.
robot doggos, though.
Numero 4, Nolan. Are you gonna keep the space wolves alive?
I'm afraid I am not. I am actually going to give a little love to a certain very important chapter of a very important group in the Imperium that hasn't gotten any love yet on this list. Boom.
Ooh,
Great
nice.
Knight Terminators.
Nice.
Yeah. So when I actually was going through this list, it took me kind of a little while to figure out between these guys and the Sanguinary Guard, which ones I like better, because they're both bling Marines.
Yeah.
they both got their bling. They're very fancy. But man, these guys, yeah, I don't know. It's just they're just so 40K. They got the Gothic and the kind of futuristic blend going on there.
Yeah.
They actually, more so than the baseline Grey Knights, these guys look like they were an improvement of the very first Grey Knight sculpt, because the very first Grey Knight one was more like Terminator looking rather than baseline Space Marine.
Right.
But yeah, compared to the standard Terminators, I like these guys better. They have the advantage of that they were made a little later than kind of the established Terminators look, but really good poses. A lot of Terminators end up looking kind of static because they're so big and bulky, but these guys, they show some movement to them. Love the knight looking helmets on them, and their decorations. They've got the books, they've got the shields, they've got the inquisitorial eyes and the little daggers and swords and chains and everything, and their halberds, or whatever you want to call them, their pole arms. They look powerful. They look kind of maybe a little bit magical, and
they read.
Everything they should be for psychic superhuman demon fighters.
And they read.
He's got the book. He stole it from my chaplain.
Exactly. No,
dude, they've got more like words on them than most certainly Marines. Look at the front guy. He's got like on his chest plates, he's got like gold words, and on his kneecaps and on his shins right there.
Yeah, Mark has one of these armies. I mean, he has a Grey Knight's army. And I remember
Mhm.
playing them, and I think Mark was at 7th edition, and it was just like painful because the rules were just insane because every single one had a different weapon and you needed to know it and everything.
Yeah, that's also my own fault for building them with each different weapons because actually I magnetized mine so I could swap out weapons,
Yeah.
but I'd
So
only
he chose to make it painful, Mallory.
I did.
Yes, he loves pain.
I love Grey Knights army wise, but sadly their rules are kind of
Their rules have varied from like ridiculously overpowered to I don't know. They're one of those armies that it's difficult for GW to find a good balance with their rules. Like the Craft World Eldar, much coincidentally, both armies that use a lot of psychic powers.
Yeah.
But yeah, these guys, I mean, if you want someone to fight a demon, these guys certainly look the absolute peak of the part. So
Nice. Good choice. Okay, number 4. So my number 4, let's get from second place, that second place silver, to first place gold.
Custodes, I knew it.
I love gold. So the Custodes Wardens, as far as Custodes go, these are my favorite. They just got the whole regal look about them. I love the axes. I think I prefer the axes over the spears. And they're just, I think they're also built a little bit like, because the Custodes, the I guess the Wardens that I have, I don't think I made them very well or something. But look kind of like they're falling over, some of them. Like they're like kind of running. It looks like they're a little goofy, but these guys all look very proud. A little more static. I wish there was a little bit more movement, I will say, but I do love the regal.
That would be one of my kind of criticisms of the model because I do like the aesthetic a lot. But
that's also because this picture, it's showing 5 models, but I think 2 of them are identical, or they didn't use all 5 of the different ones.
Yeah, 2 of them are identical and they're right next to each other too.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how they
actually, I think 3 of them. I think the front 2 have the identical ones, and then the middle one and that back one on this photo are identical. So it's really only showing 3 of the 5.
Dang.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't tell if the front 2 have differently angled heads and arms slightly.
Well,
they
have different weapons, but they're definitely angles. The same torso and legs, and left arm.
Well, that's kind of the Custodes.
Hold on,
they're definitely a lot more uniform looking. But I do like their helmets and their whole armor aesthetic. And
I like the helmets,
arms.
The little red tufts.
Yeah. I just prefer the Grey Knight Termies because they're a little more variety.
Well,
too bad the tufts on the head
but these are good.
Space Wolf's fur.
Yeah, we both know that they would beat the Grey Knights in a fight.
Okay, well that's the most important thing we all know, which is why Primaris are objectively better than any other Space Marine.
Now, what do you think?
Primaris, Grey
gold
Knight,
or silver? What are you? Team gold, team
Primaris
silver?
Custodes.
Honestly, I think believe it or not, I think I do like the Grey Knights look better.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay. We'll see.
Lost this round, Mark.
Whatever that means. Is that a threat?
We'll see.
I think it means he's going to get you some of the Custodes and make you paint them until you like it.
No, he painted them.
Until
he painted them at your house, Nolan, over like one weekend.
Yeah, you remember that?
I don't think he left the couch. He painted them like 2 days straight.
Yeah, but he's going to get more now just so that you can build and paint them.
No, I painted the
Wardens. Stockholm syndrome for the Custodes.
But Mallory, I painted those are the Wardens. Those are the regular ones. I painted the Wardens watching Stranger Things.
Oh. Didn't you also have the not bikes, but like the whatever they are? Yeah.
Those are pretty cool.
The hover bikes? Yeah, those are pretty sweet.
Okay.
Those were another one that I considered but didn't make my cut.
Or did they?
All right. Well, Mal.
My turn. Dun, 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 dun.
Put them up.
Did it send?
No.
I am not seeing it.
That took away the suspense.
There. Oh.
Come on.
First champion. Why come on, Mark?
I don't know.
Because you like it?
maybe.
I guess he
Okay,
hates it.
so the one thing I like about it, I think I am just a little. I like the goth look, apparently,
Yeah.
as you can see with my picks. But he's just sleek. I just think it looks cool. I like the pose. I like the sword up in the air. Just like him. Little chains across his chest.
Mm-hmm.
He looks good.
Looks pretty good.
His little loincloths. Just kidding.
Loincloth,
Seriously.
so good. Little crown.
Why'd you
of-
say come on, Mark? Tell us all.
Dude, that's just it's just a thing I say.
That was a funny reaction.
Okay, I'm gonna guess that Mark has that on his list.
Well, we'll
That's
see.
my prediction.
We'll see. All right, we're gonna move on to number. Are we on number 3 now?
Number three.
Top 3.
Goodness, we are tearing through them. Okay. Welp. When it came to the Primaris models, like Mark, I've come around to them mostly. There were a couple that didn't quite make the cut, but that I briefly considered. I think they're called the Reavers, like the Skull Mask guys.
Yeah.
They look very Black Ops. I kind of like those, and the Interceptors, who have their. I have a soft spot for the Cyclops style visors, but both of them are also kind of cribbing a bit from Imperial assassins, the normal human ones, the Vindicare, the Vindicare and the what's it called?
Calexis?
Eversor. So
Or Eversor,
that
that's
made
right.
him a little less. Calexis is still pretty unique, the giant head guy. So that kind of takes away a little from him. But this guy was just a big improvement on the previous model that came before him, and that is boom. Primaris Chaplain. Not the one on the bike like Mal, the one on foot. But yeah, look, he's got the skull. He's got a hooded skull, Mallory.
There you go.
That's
Nolan,
like that
he's
should be
at
like
the
double for
library.
you.
He's arrived at the library.
Yeah.
For his book.
Yeah. But he's got like the pistol, dude. That pistol and like the belts with the holster, and I don't know, just all the details are just great. He's a great chaplain model. He's got like a trench coat almost thing, right? A duster.
Yeah.
Duster. Nolan with his
Like,
fashion
yeah.
terms.
That's what they're called. These kind of coats over his armor. So that's very cool. So he's kind of got the gothic thing, but he's also got almost like a little bit of a Western vibe because of that coat too. So
Nice.
it's very cool.
I do like that this staff better than the one on the bike.
Yeah, you don't like
It's got a more
like a more
prominent
subdued
skull.
staff. Yeah.
I like
This
the
is more
skulls.
subdued, certainly. I consider this a big improvement over the older chaplain models. The interrogator chaplain for the Dark Angels wasn't bad, but the other chaplain models were kind of awkward looking, the older ones, and this really kind of refined them and brought him out. He doesn't have a book. Oh no, he does have a book on his waist.
Of course,
there.
yeah.
It's not as coolly positioned as the biker chaplain,
Yeah.
but overall, I just like this model's pose and outfit a bit better. So
Good choice.
yeah, very grimdark, very 40K, very very characterful.
Okay, number 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so my number 3 needs no introduction because Mallory.
Come on.
Oh man,
I knew
man.
it.
that's why you said come on,
Dude, I
predicted
love
it.
this model. So, as Mallory rightly chose it, it looks great. So, there was a kid at the game shop who had this model very poorly painted, but he had it kind of at the front of his army. And I remember like walking by the table and being like, what is that? It looks sweet. And I thought it was like some custom thing. Like I didn't, because I didn't recognize it and didn't really fit any of like the ones I was familiar with at the time. But good old Black Templars, just got a good knightly look about it. And I'm a fan of just the overall, like I feel like this is a model, if they had to update it, they'd have to be spot on because I feel like they might do some subtle changes. Like they might make the head maybe looking at the sword instead of facing down, and they might maybe make his fist not as clenched or something. And I think it would lose some of its appeal if they were to do that. I think how it was designed is just, they did a great job.
I agree, Mark.
Thank you.
Well, I have no complaints.
All right. Mallory's turn,
Well,
number 3.
let's see.
Oh, number 3. Here we go. Okay, so let me preface this by saying Mark has told me a lot about the lore, but I'm not really I haven't read a lot about lore and stuff. So
Oh my gosh, I just had
Primaris lore doesn't really, like, picking a Primaris model doesn't go against who I am like it does for Mark. But so this is the Primaris chaplain, but in the Phobos
Primaris
armor.
librarian, isn't this?
Oh yeah, this is librarian.
Librarian.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And then love the hood.
Dude,
Look it up.
His backpack, his cloak has a hood of its own.
And so does his shoulder
pads.
He doesn't want to get it wet, Nolan. It's a good paint job.
Dude.
But yeah, looks good.
It does look good.
Got a little skull necklace.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, as far as Primaris Marines go, because I was kind of just sadly, because I just am blinded by my rage, I almost would prevent myself from picking a Primaris model strictly because of that, because they were Primaris, but I will admit, yeah, this is a good one. I wish that they had a fully enclosed head. That's my classic complaint.
But it has the gas mask or whatever, so
Got the
mask and hood.
you would never really be able to.
It's true, but yeah, this is a good
I like the keys. I like the belt full of keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good choice.
It's a good pose too.
Yeah.
It could be hard to paint, potentially.
This doesn't mean
maybe there's a lot of robe. There's a lot of robe that would make
robe's kind of hard to get. Yeah, robe's kind of hard to do good though.
Yeah, maybe a little. It's dry brushing is the key. It's all about that dry brush. All right. So now we're on to number 2.
Number 2. Wow, Nolan, you were just, if it's not your model, you just don't even want to talk about it. You know how it is.
Not true. Anyway. But yeah, so I'm finally going to give some vehicle love. And I mentioned when Mal had a Dark Angels hovercraft earlier, I mentioned that was that we had maybe similar taste in vehicles. The Dark Talon.
Nice.
Flyer. Yeah, so I actually own the Nephilim, which is the slightly less blinged out version of this.
Wait, you do?
Yes. Yeah, I actually got it from a fellow in a trade.
Hello.
And I do really like the lines. I like the, that its wings have like the Dark Angel wing pattern on them. It's kind of like a modern helicopter in the cockpit and stuff, but turned into a jet fighter. So that's cool. But also what really kind of puts this one over the top and why I like it better than the Nephilim is it has that little shrine thing on the back. It's got the Dark Angels Gothic bling, that just makes it so 40K. And this one, in terms of looking both like a functional jet fighter and that distinctly Gothic 40K look, flying church look, this brings both of them together so well, I feel like.
Oh, dang. Look at the hurricane bolters under the wings.
Oh, yeah. Nephilim has that too.
That is sweet.
Option.
So instead of them being stacked, they're just laid out in a row.
Yeah, they're straight across. That's some strafing power.
That's sweet. What's that main gun? What is it?
Oh gosh, what is that thing? I gotta look it up again. I think it actually it does some special things. I actually got the Nephilim fighter like right before I moved shortly, so I haven't had a chance to use it or anything. But yeah, my favorite Loyalist Marine vehicle, and just a really good strong model overall. Almost one of my favorite, almost my favorite on the list.
Good choice.
That's how good it is.
Sadly, it's Dark Angels though.
Hey, Dark Angels have a good aesthetic, man.
No, they do have a good aesthetic. I love the aesthetic. I just am so sad about the allure. Just can't get over it.
Yeah.
The new changes.
Well,
Okay,
why
number
don't you
2.
show us your good lore and aesthetic post?
So this one, I did a pure cop out for my number 2, and I chose 5 models. But it's all
well, if it's a squad, it's okay.
so it's actually the here. I'm just gonna. Can I drag them all at once? Yes, I'm dragging them all over at once. So get ready to be
Okay, I'm kind of
inundated.
interested.
It is basically chaplain, just a chaplain.
Any chaplain, huh?
Well, not any. I did pick it to these specific 5. So we've got the Primaris chaplain on foot, which Nolan, that's why I didn't say anything, because I was also secretly mad that I was like, man, everyone's picking my stuff. But yeah, I love it. Looks great. Also, Primaris captain or chaplain on bike. Looks great.
Which Mal picked earlier.
The Dark Angel limited edition from Dark Vengeance set, that chaplain.
That's actually really good, and I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that one.
That's a good one. And then we've got the old Terminator chaplain,
and the Word Bearers chaplain,
and that one as well. I know. So I was like, I'm just gonna combine them all into mega chaplain choice.
Kind of cheating, but at least this way we did get to see something new, and I'm gonna give a shout out to that Dark Vengeance chaplain.
Thank you. I couldn't find a good picture of it. That's my best one I could find.
It's a decent enough picture. If you had to pick a favorite out of any of these.
So that's why it was so hard for me, because I didn't want to give the credit to one of the Primaris, because it's either probably the Primaris on foot or on bike. But I just couldn't
pick it, man.
Well, if I had to pick between those, I just can't.
So I guess you did this so that your list wouldn't just be like all chaplains.
This is why we own
half
every
chaplains.
single Warhammer model ever. Because he just can't pick.
My pick is actually the entire line of this army. Definitely pushing it, but you're making up for Mallory for her lack of 3.
Seriously.
So if there's one takeaway from this, and everyone watching, it's that Mallory just hates Space Marine models, all loyalists, and Mark just loves all chaplains. So
that's true.
There you go.
Indiscriminately. Talk about a house divided. Okay, well, yeah, no, I mean, they're all good, strong models. We picked a couple of them, Mallory and I, so obviously we like them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mallory, you want to show us yours then?
Okay, I'm gonna get some hate for this one.
Ooh.
Lots of hate. Baby Bjorn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hey, I'm glad you put it there.
So I don't love the Baby Bjorn aspect of it, or the little guy in his little mama's carrier, but
baby carrier.
Overall, if you take that aspect away, I do think it looks like it's a sweet model overall. And yeah.
Hey, no disagreement for me. I love that. We have one, and it's.
I think once you hear the Baby Bjorn, you just can't get that out.
It's true, but if you kind of can forget about that, it looks like it's a sweet. I mean, it's like a big old Terminator controlling an even bigger Terminator.
And isn't this basically Pacific Rim?
Whoa.
Kinda.
Isn't it?
The legs and arms are great. Yeah, I just can't get over the little baby carrier in the front. I mean, also it's like how he's totally exposed there. I mean, I know like the bare heads and everything, it's like suspension of disbelief, but still, man, it's like just shoot the guy.
Yeah,
dude, it's mobility.
Just as exposed as he could possibly be.
It's about mobility.
I feel like if they covered like even just the half of his body, like if his arms were kind of exposed and even his head with maybe
even if his legs,
but it's his legs dangling, hanging out like da 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 da, like just. So yeah, I do agree with that, but I do like
clearly you like the other.
I love it, Nolan.
Enough to bring it all the way to top 2, so that says a lot.
Yep.
I'm a fan of it on the tabletop too. I think because like in this setting where you just straight on photo of it, it's gonna have that Baby Bjorn element, but from the top down view from the tabletop, I think it looks super good. So
it looks good from the back.
Just don't look at it from the front.
Oh man.
Okay, top 1.
Oh yeah, here it is.
All right.
Boy.
My number one
Drum
pick
roll.
of all time, Loyalist Marines. Drum roll. Yes. Well, you guys are gonna freaking laugh. Because
It's gonna be a
Maybe.
classic.
what
Nolan
is there
pick.
to say? But come on. Yes, Emperor's Champion.
It's a
That's
sweet
why you're
model.
That's why
You
you're
notice how I said almost nothing on your guys' and
Yeah.
There we go.
Mark was complaining. Mark was complaining that I don't want to talk about anyone. That was
Well,
freaking
that
why.
was what
For
was
two of your
so
entries.
funny.
I had to for 2 of your entries. I had to be like, okay, I just need to not talk because I need to save it for when I do talk about it on mine.
That's so
and
great.
I'm trying to be inconspicuous about it.
I love that, but what can I say? But come on. So great.
Dude, it is a good.
See,
It's such a
we
good
are
model.
friends, okay?
It's such a good model.
Emperor's Champion. Yeah, I mean, great pose, so strong. He's got the one clenched fist, the sword raised. He's just looking straight ahead. You can tell he's just like issuing a challenge, which is what the Emperor's Champion is all about, right? So
Sweet
lots of
model.
personality in this pose. The model is like kind of simple in that he doesn't have a lot of bling or anything, just the
Right.
one, chest ornament, chest necklace chain.
That's
Iron
part of the
Cross
reason
thing.
I like him compared to others.
But at the same time, he's got some of that 40K over the topness. His sword is like taller than he is, and he's just single-handing that sucker. And he's got the laurels on his helmet. Of course, the sword says Imperator Rex on it.
Something King.
Yeah, just like such a nostalgic model, just so classic. Yeah. If they resculpted this, I mean, it could maybe be refined a little, but like, boy, they would have to be so true to it. To the pose, is just perfect.
There's actually years ago I read a thing in a White Dwarf that was actually, I think, talking about this model, because this was back whenever they didn't have the CAD design and stuff, or I guess CAD is design in the word. Anyway, they weren't doing digital imaging and things like that, and I think this might have been strictly created through a guy created using like a putty to design a model and then make a cast from that. And so it's just that much more impressive too when you think of it that way, where they're just designing.
Oh yeah, casting has come a long way, but there are some old models that still look great, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Games Workshop, don't change it. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's super good. They kind of actually, if you look at the new Primaris, I want to say it's either Captain or Lieutenant. They definitely took some cues from this model in that one.
Well, it's a good model to take cues from.
I might have to. I'll send you the picture to share, but it looks similar to this, but this one definitely is superior in every way.
Yeah, this model just has so much personality, and it's such like a well balanced model in terms of how much stuff it has on it, decorations and gear, equipment, and balance between like over the top but not too over the top. So yeah,
nice. All right, good choice. My number one. I don't know if it's been seen before, but it's the Grey Knight Terminators.
I figured. I was waiting for you to. I knew this would have to be.
I freaking love Grey Knight Terminators, man. They dominate over Custody Wardens. I was classically joking.
After you were like, that was the silver, this is the gold.
This is also number one for me for multiple reasons, not just because I would argue that some other models we've chosen are maybe better, but this one, I believe Grey Knights were one of, if not my very first army. So there's that checkbox right there. Got to give it to them. Also, when I was getting into Warhammer at the game shop, you've got the wall of the boxes and the models and stuff, and the Grey Knight Terminator box. Well, I guess I'm sorry, shout out to Tau Fire Warriors, I know, but those two model kits were the ones that kind of won me over. I looked at them and I'm like, man, that's a sweet looking model. I want that. So they look great. I actually had painted them years ago. I did a terrible job painting them. I thought I would be cool if I painted them black and I dry brushed the silver. Looked like garbage. Sold the army. stripped the paint off of the other half, and then magnetized basically all the Grey Knights I have, and then I repainted all of them, the ones I hadn't sold. So I do have the Grey Knight army again. They're beautifully painted, in my opinion, to my standard at least, and yeah, I love them, and they're just got cool lore too. So
Yeah.
There you go.
Well.
Oh, and one last little thing. I don't like the Grey Knight Paladins. I don't like those helmets at all.
Gotcha.
Those helmets are not.
Yeah, they're not as good. They're not as
So
good.
you want that for Christmas, you said?
No, I want the Terminators, which I already
Wait,
have.
you don't have the Terminators already?
No, I do already have them. I want more.
I want that.
More.
All right, Mallory.
Okay.
Well, you successfully deceived us, so I got to hand it to you.
Thank you.
Unlike Mark, I have plenty of room to spare. So my little guy hopped off his bike.
It's all just rehashes of other people.
Oh man, I was worried about this.
No new picks.
I do love them. The skulls, man. I love the skulls.
Yeah.
Dude. Yo.
He just looks sweet.
So this was what, my number 2. Was this Nolan your number 3?
That was my number 3.
The 3-2-1 punch.
3-2-1
Dude,
punch.
I was gonna say at the end of all this that the Emperor's Champion is the objective best, because I didn't think anything was gonna beat that, because that was also 3-2-1 for a
It
pick.
was, yeah.
But now
it was
this
actually
guy's
not. It was
3-2-1
actually
too.
my number 4.
Primaris Chaplain.
Emperor's Champion is
Primaris
your 4.
Chaplain
Oh,
beats him out. I'm sad.
Wow, Primaris wins.
I don't know.
Primaris
I
on
think
foot.
now, like looking at him more, I probably would flip it around. I honestly might even put the Black Templars guy ahead of the Dread Knight, but you know,
No worries.
Well,
it's good.
okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
Primaris
Well,
Now
Chaplain.
we do have this model, so you can paint it.
No thanks. He has got too much bling.
I'm worried.
Paint it.
I'm gonna probably paint mine
I
in
think he has just
Salamanders.
enough bling, Mallory.
color scheme, and I don't know if it'll look as good.
He has just enough bling to look good, but also just enough bling to deter me from wanting to paint it.
That's true.
I think he could look good in Salamander's color scheme. Let me go back to your Salamander. Where was that?
Whenever we
Hadrax,
go,
number 7.
whenever Mark shows me a model and says, "Do you like this model?" I think about if I would like to paint that model before I say yes or no. Because I know that that's also what I'm signing up for if I say yes. So
Hey, I've just gone.
Green armor, white cloak. Yeah, he could rock that.
I've just demoted you to base duty now. That's yeah. As long as you do bases, I'll be happy.
Oh man, having her do your grunt work, Mark.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't
pretty
know.
good at it though.
It is.
She's good at the applying the sand and the painting and everything. So
Nice.
She's good at staying in between the lines. You sound pathetic.
Well, we have concluded, at least pretty conclusively, that the MVPs are Emperor's Champion and Primaris Chaplain on foot.
yeah,
Guaranteed.
with some honorable mentions of Grey Knight, Terminators.
Grey Knight Terminators.
We had quite a few Space Wolves. I was kind of shocked about that.
Yeah,
Nobody picked
Yeah,
Santa.
yeah.
I thought you would pick Santa.
Oh, he's honestly,
Santa's worse than Baby Bjorn.
oh no, not for me. I don't know. Honestly, Santa Claus is one of the ones of the new, latest, like kind of over the top style of Space Wolves that I like better. At least he's fun, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of cheesy, but he's in kind of a fun way. He kind of feels like harkens back to, you know, back when Noise Marines had guitars and stuff. That kind of period of Games Workshop. It was like fun times.
Do you want Noise Marines, whenever they re-release them, to have guitars?
Depends on how it's executed.
Yeah, I'm split on
Like,
that.
They should have violins.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff.
mean, a lot of people
Yes.
would, just for the kind of cheese factor, and because that's kind of how little people like their Noise Marines. But it is like definitely a less serious take on Noise Marines than their amps that they currently have, which I kind of like too. Like, a lot of people just prefer the guitars, but I kind of like the amps too, especially on the Forge World version, the Cacophony Warriors.
Oh yeah, that looks sweet.
Dude, I like those a lot too. I might have picked those, except those are in this weird space where it's like they're 30K models and they're basically a 30K version of a Chaos. kit, but they were Loyalists back then, so it's kind of like a gray area.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wasn't sure, so I decided not to count those as Loyalists for this.
So for our
Well,
next
that's
top 10, are we going to be doing some?
Xenos?
Are we just going Xenos or are we staying Imperium?
That's a good
I
question.
have more picks for both of those, so either one.
Oh, for sure.
excites
Yeah,
me.
I think next one also will have a lot less.
We were going to divide
overlap.
the Xenos in some way. We already know how we're doing the last Imperium list, so maybe we should do that next because we already know it. And that way we knock out all the humans right away. Xenos, we want to kind of divide up into like the kind of weren't we going to divide them into like the Horde Gribbly armies, like like orcs and Tyranids, and then we were going to do all the different Eldars together. That
we
one
could.
kind of
There's
like
a part of me that is
obvious
okay
choice.
if we kept them all together, and then we could either, if we need to, we could extend it to like 15, which would make like an insanely long video. But
yeah, there's just so much variety to the
I love them,
Xenos.
though.
I feel like it's kind of shortchanging them if we lump all the Xenos armies together. Even with us lumping a lot of Imperium armies together, I feel like we're still not shortchanging them as much as we would by putting all the Xenos armies together.
That's true. It's good that we didn't do a top 5 for the Space Marines, because I was like tempted, like maybe we should just do a top 5 for them. But I think if we had done that, we would have just had chaplains,
same ones,
and Emperor's
We would have had so
Champion,
many
and-
repeats.
Yeah.
classic.
That's funny.
So good.
That's how you know they're good.
They are good.
Well, I guess we are done with our countdown now.
Yeah.
I don't know if this video is longer or a little shorter than the other one. So that was a good list. We had a surprising number of repeats compared to the Chaos. Chaos, we
Right.
were way more like distinct in our lists. And this one, we definitely kind of all leaned in the same direction on some models. So we will next time do either a Xenos or the final Imperium list, all the Imperium non-Space Marine armies, Imp Guard, Inquisition, Assassins, and Sisters of Battle. I think that's everything, right?
I think so, yeah. Oh, AdMech.
AdMech. Oh, can't forget about AdMech, man.
Yeah.
Don't ever
they're
forget
important.
about AdMech.
No, especially with all the hoods right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
You know it.
But I thought that was a pretty good list. So Mallory, we had our challenge for you. 3 models from our list that you didn't have on yours that you want to pad out your list with.
So I picked that one, the one with the hoods marked put
The
salamanders.
Deathwing Knights, yep.
Yep. And then
They're not salamanders, Dark Angels, but anyway.
Dark Angels, yeah.
they're painted green though.
They are painted green, but they are dark
Yeah.
angels.
This tells you how much I love Space Marines. This right here, this knowledge that I'm
Spoken like a true Harlequin.
Oh,
Don't
man.
even.
True Xenos.
I don't know that
Heretical
I
Xenos lover.
liked your flyer, Nolan. It's obviously
Dark Talon?
comparable to mine. But yeah.
Mhm.
So those 2, and then
That's 2 for Dark Angels.
Mhm.
Do we have a fallen angel in our midst?
I think Nolan's
Maybe.
number 10.
The Ulrich the Slayer.
Oh no. Number 9.
Oh, the retro guy remake of the First Marine.
Yes. Does he have the studs?
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
he has the studs.
Studs man.
Studs, man.
Studs man, that's his name now.
Those are my 3 honorable mentions.
All right.
Okay, those are your 3 honorable mentions, and it would be like in that order: Death Knight, Terminator, Dark Talon, and then Studs man being number 10.
Yeah, maybe put the Talon before as number.
Yeah,
Boo.
Dark Talon deserves props. It's a great model.
Yep.
All right, so so I feel like we kind of breezed through that, which might have been partially because Mallory had 3 less. But
that's good.
Hopefully it doesn't take me too long to edit this one. I'm also working on remember I told you guys I was
Wait, have we said our official goodbye yet?
No, we haven't said our official goodbye yet. Yeah, guys, if you liked the video, like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to allegedly be notified. Although I know that some people haven't been notified, so it's all screwy. Just keep an eye on the channel, basically, if you want to catch the videos when they come out. They come out. I try to update weekly. We've been busy lately, so
Yeah.
it's been like every couple of few weeks or every few weeks instead.
Mallory should be
But,
putting a army showcase out pretty soon about her. Are we doing your Slanesh army or your Harlequins? Well, maybe one of those. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
who
find
knows?
out.
Tell
That's
us what you
great.
want. Tell us what you
And
really want.
in non 40K content, I'm finally buckling down and doing an anime review of. I told you guys about this show, Brynhilder, which I have Brynhilder in the Darkness, which I have many grievances against, many complaints.
Nice.
So it's time for a good old negative review, good old long negative review again. Which YouTube loves, red letter media and all of that. So hopefully people will like that. But yeah, we
Thanks
hope
for
everyone
watching.
enjoyed. Yeah. And we've got backup channel on BitChute as always. My webcomic, The Last Night of Elder, is still updating every Friday. So I'll link to that in the description as well. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right, guys?
That's it. Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.